My brokers are absolutely fantastic, and I sometimes think work around the clock and I'm their only client. Always dealing with banks and dealing with brokers, I would go a broker any day of the week. I've had experience with both, and the personalisation that you get from a broker, the personal attention that you get from a broker, and they know what's going on. You're not just a number, that you're a client. So I've felt with banks before that being single, originally when doing this, and them really drilling me about what I was doing, and going to a broker and sitting down and saying, look, this is it, this is what I'm doing, this is what I have done, this is what I want to do, and them actually being part of your team. So I would go a broker, and my brokers are actually here tonight, so have a chat to them. They're spot on girls. With the licensed agreement, what I do is I have a letter sent from my solicitor to the vendors to sign, and that states that I take the property from the time it becomes unconditional. So once the banks have said, yep, finance is approved on it, it's yours to take. That means that from there until the settlement date, I'm not paying a cent towards that property. So it saves my holding costs. The saving costs on 2 or 3 months with a higher priced property can, save you $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, and that's all going in your pocket. I'd rather it go into my pocket or into the renovation than have to pay for it and up front and then pay for it whilst you're doing the renovations. It just doesn't make any sense to me anymore. There are some properties that we've tried to buy that will not do a licensed agreement, which is fine. Sometimes they want a larger deposit, and at the time, if I look at it and think, yes, I can afford a larger deposit and I can get the money recouped out of the property after renovated, then I'll think about it. But most of the time I won't. So depending on the property, its value and what you're going to resell it for is what I base it on, whether I can put a larger deposit towards it. So that's a licence agreement. If I didn't actually put one in here, so if anybody does want a copy of one, leave me your email addresses and I'll email one through to you, just so that you know what they look like. Some agents I've spoken to recently are not unaware of them, but they're not liking them. So it's sometimes you talk to an agent and you say, we want a licence agreement, and they'll say, oh, I don't think they'll like that. And you say, well, until you've asked them, I don't want to know. So you ask them if they'd like a licence agreement, because you're basically telling me it's not your property, I need the vendor to tell me that. So yeah, that's how licensed agreements work. Now, do you want to see some photos?